quick. All right, we are live as well on YouTube. So welcome everyone. If you're new to the Mirror, we are an all-in-one game development platform. And so like an open source Roblox or UEFN, where you can actually fully own everything you build and create. Because we're built on the open source Godot engine, which is incredible to work with. And yeah, so we do this plenty every week to keep people updated on where we are with the open source releases, the features, and all the cool stuff that you want to see. So let me go ahead and share my screen over here. All right, so been spending some time updating our roadmap. And so go ahead and take a look at that if you want. Nothing too crazy, but the main things that you'll see up top are that we have very urgent two things: the marketplace and our release for our H release, which is Horizon. And I know we've been talking about this for a while, but that is incoming. We're very excited about it. We're finally in a QA stage for it. We added, subtracted, well, simplified some features, but have added a good few. And then, of course, moving to the open source side, we want to, there's a lot of CI/CD that's gone on in the background. I know we've talked about that over the past 1 or 2 weeks. So that's incoming for the Horizon release. And then aiming for roughly same time frame, or it could be shortly after, is the marketplace on the web app. And so you can upload anything that you create and then monetize your creations. You can sell assets, and eventually you can even sell in-game items like power-ups, like quests, like DLC type stuff, or anything else. So those are our two key priorities at the moment. So those are incoming shortly. And then otherwise, you'll still see our CI/CD stuff and aligning the old repo with the open source repo. That's probably actually complete at the moment, unless you think differently.
That is complete. Yes, I finished it yesterday.
Let's
I put
go.
all the secrets in place. Everything is ready to deploy. So we just need to do QA, and we'll have a shiny release out.
Sweet, sweet.
I saw there's a bunch of bugs that have been QA'd already, and Lisa needs to create issues for them in the tracker, but there's quite a few to fix. It's
Yep,
gonna be
yep.
fun.
So definitely in the QA stage there. CI/CD porting. How are we on the CI/CD side?
CI/CD porting for that project is complete.
Heck yeah. All right. Yeah, we are fully in QA for the web app and the Horizon release. So super excited for that. And one other thing up here too is one of our top requested features is GDScript in world, and actually a couple of things. So GDScript in world will be in this release. It's definitely we're an alpha product as a whole. This is the alpha feature of GDScript in world of an alpha product. So incoming, but might have a few bugs that we will do our best to hammer out. But hey, that's why we do alphas. That's why we want to get it out there quickly for you to get some feedback so you can try things out. But Aaron's done awesome work there, so we're quite excited to release that. And so we'll keep that as in progress, even though it comes as a part of this Horizon release. And one other thing too that you'll see, I'm not sure we have a task for it up actually. I need to document this, but the materials side is important. We will have updates so you can actually change the individual material of a mesh, of a single part of a mesh. So that is incoming as well. And that has some bugs that we're also in the QA process of fixing. So, but that'll be good to have in there too. Cool. So that's a lot of it. But Gordon, do you have anything else that's on your mind?
Not really. Pietro asked when we can get a release out, and it's basically after QA says it's okay. So Lisa's our QA person, and she's in charge of that. And basically, we have to pass all the checklist. So passing that checklist initially after this big, change to open source will take a little bit of time. It won't take a long time, but it'll take at least a week of fixing bugs. And once that's done, we can ship a new binary. I'm really looking forward to it though, because it'll be our first open source binary release technically.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Yeah, thanks for
Um,
nudging us on that, Pietro. Definitely is a priority. We'll get it out there. Yeah, it's always, yeah. The more features you add, then you add more on top of that. It's like an exponential more level of complexity to make sure everything works well together. So it's definitely in progress.
yeah, you wouldn't believe how many literally we rewrote the entire CI because of changing to the mono repository, and getting that right was really challenging. But luckily now 99% of it is just copy paste because we have the structure correct.
Yep, very much so.
I wish we could actually make 2 binaries and have like an alpha version. That'd be funny.
That'd be funny. Yeah. Well, we've thought about that actually
Should be.
for our staging environment. That's a possibility.
Yeah, if staging was somehow hooked up to like a copy of prod, it could work really well. Like, do we just auto duplicate it back from prod to staging?
Yeah.
That could be really handy.
Yeah, I was thinking about that yesterday actually. That could actually make a ton of sense. So, because we were working on a process for migrating databases, then I was like, wait, it could be a lot less fireworks if we actually just copy prod to staging, run the migration, and then we know what's going to happen because it's the same data, and then we can actually smoothly move. Could be from dev to prod or staging to prod for the next,
Yeah,
like the final push.
that's a good point. We can add the step to the CI as well. Like if it's the staging environment, run this extra step to do this migration before deploying the clients. That could work.
Yep, very much so. I like that. By the way, it looks like we have 16 viewers on YouTube. So if you guys are just tuning in, this is our weekly open source planning meeting on our GitHub repo. Definitely check us out. Give us a star if you'd like. Building this open source game platform. So quite excited. But yes, so we are, as you can tell, we're still smoothing out some of our CI/CD process too for that because yeah, we want to make sure that, especially we have people building full games, and so we, when we run database migrations, we don't want to screw things up there. So that's the context for working on some more of this CI/CD. I know like it's been at least 2 of these planning meetings now where we're like, yeah, a lot of CI/CD, but yeah, reason for that is exactly as such. So we once we can release quickly, I know we're getting there. We haven't released quickly, but we will. And then 2 is that we don't destroy your game in the process of actually releasing.
Yeah, it's very important that the game opens and runs. Right now, the game opens and runs, but we've got a few showstoppers. We've got the multiplayer. I've got a multiplayer issue with the characters where they're not able to see each other, but they're still able to interact with the space. So that'll be number 1 on my list. And once that's fixed, the others I'll just take a look at. They shouldn't be as bad as that issue. I'm not particularly worried. Oh look, a wild Wotek has appeared.
Wojtek. I invited him up. We'll see if he joins. Wojtek, I was just talking about the materials side in case you have any thoughts. Pietro said alpha, not early production version. Yes. Very, very alpha, very early production. With that, we were working very hard on these features, but you know, these game platforms are massive to build. It's kind of interesting. Like no one else is really doing what we're doing. There's like a few select ones out there, but yeah, it's a lot to build, to say the least. You know, of course, we know Roblox and UAFN, but there's not as many like upstarts working on it too.
Definitely want vehicles soon because I was watching some new Mario Party, not Mario Party, the new Zelda physics video that they released online, and their physics engine looks amazing. We need to, you know, we need to beat them. No, I'm joking. We need to implement the same things as in Jolt because we have so many classes in Jolt that we just don't have access to, and when we have access to them in the mirror, it'll be really cool. Constraints and stuff. Vehicles, I think number would be the best one to start with because they're probably a good performance check. You know, like does this work? Is this practical? Or where are the performance issues? Especially with a vehicle, they'll become really obvious because your camera's like following the vehicle. So it'd be really cool to get vehicles in there.
Yep, totally agree. Yeah, vehicles will be great. Let's see. We have a question. System requirements for this to run. I think we need to better document that. But I'll defer to Gordon there.
Minimum requirements generally tend to be dedicated graphics card with Vulkan. Some non-dedicated GPUs will work, like the Ryzen chips, but anything other than that, not so much. You know, APUs basically, they should work, but if there are issues, the sort of like Intel chipset's sort of unsupported at the moment, because it's very hit or miss with the Vulkan API, and very hit or miss whether it'll work. Apart from that, there's not really a minimum requirement apart from make sure your graphics card has at least, let's say, 8 gigabytes of RAM and your system has at least 8 gigs of RAM. Joining bigger spaces obviously is going to need more RAM. If the space has too many objects, you'll need more CPU RAM and more VRAM. But you can lower the settings to help with that. But yeah, graphics is just basically dedicated. The things like the Steam Deck and stuff should work in theory, as well. That's got very good specifications, so I don't anticipate that having any difficulty. We were even like able to run the game on the headset on the Meta Quest, so hardware is not really a hard thing.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that too. And I'm pulling up the material stuff real quick if anyone's interested. So this is what's incoming, so you can like change just this, say grass for example. If I want to change this, like it's gonna look ridiculous, but change the base color of this over here. Yep, it's a very dark grass, it's kind of hard to see. Change the outside, that'll look a bit better. And I'll
So
make
Pietro says he on a 1650 he has lag if he disables automatic graphics. So that's because it's doing resolution scaling on your machine. If you have your system specs, please send them across so that we can take a look, because you shouldn't need to run automatic graphics. It's more of a optimization for bigger spaces. Yeah, so please send across your specs, and if you're having issues, if you're having serious lag, we should fix it. Like, it's not going to get put on the back burner. It's just we've been trying to get a release out.
Yep, very much so. Cool, good stuff.
Something to note is the biggest performance hit in any of these graphics cards will be how much GPU RAM do you have. So ironically, there's not much difference between the 3080 and the 4080. The only difference really is the VRAM. So they released the 30 series as kind of a crutch when they didn't have chips available. So they put less RAM chips on them. But the caveat is when a game maxes out that VRAM, it decreases the FPS because it has to load some of the graphics memory onto the CPU. So your game will start to stutter, freeze, and lock up, which is probably why, 4 gig. So basically the fix for your 1650 is we need to optimize for 4 gig of VRAM. So that'll be adding a texture setting to lower like the texture resolution, and probably annoying Wotech to be like, hey, how can we reduce the VRAM even further for, chips with 4 gig of VRAM? Try and keep it constrained to that 4 gig, because that'll seriously improve performance for you. Yeah.
Yep, totally agree. Cool. Any other questions? Anything we can answer? And of course, if you're not on our Discord, please hop in. Happy to chat.